Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This footage is taken from a normal game, and we're going to be going back to the well, going back to the past, back to an older build here in set 8, one that hasn't really been played that much in this patch ever since this patch came out. And that's to go back and look at our Brawlers game once again. Now this was a setup that was super popular during the long-running patch that lasted all throughout the winter holidays at the end of 2022 and beginning of 2023. I've been generally calling that patch the Yuumi patch because we were on it for, I think, 4 or 5 weeks, but could also fairly be called the Jax patch. Really, the two builds that were most dominant in that patch were people re-rolling for Yuumi, Supers plus Yuumi, and alternately people playing Brawlers with Jax as the featured carry. The idea was if you could just get +1 Brawler somewhere, that would allow you to play 8 Brawlers. There's only 7 Brawlers in the game, but you could potentially play 8 Brawlers, and then Jax is your main carry, and then you would have Soraka as kind of your backup secondary carry. And this was super strong. Brawlers were just really in a strong place in that patch, and so for weeks and weeks and weeks on end, you'd see 2 or 3 people trying to force Jax in every single lobby, and it was quite annoying because if they actually hit the 3-star Jax, it was a tough setup to beat. Now, after that patch came to a close, that build got nerfed super hard. Jax basically became the worst unit in the game. I'm not exaggerating. He pretty much was the single worst unit in the game because they nerfed him in like 3 different ways. They nerfed the Brawler trait, they nerfed his scaling damage, they nerfed his base damage, etc. So they basically just deleted Jax from the game. He's gotten some minor buffs since then, but you'd have to say that Jax is still pretty underpowered at this point in time. Not really something that people are looking to build team comps around. As I said, it's a pretty outdated build, and the developer team are doing the thing where something's popular, they nerf it into the ground, then they slowly buff it back up again until it becomes overpowered again. This is a deliberate choice. For years and years, my thinking was, the TFT developers, it's just, why do they keep doing this? It's like, why have they not caught on yet? The way that they balance Thrash back and forth, why do they keep doing this? They have to know that this isn't right. Well, they're well aware of what they're doing. This is a deliberate choice by them. They want balance to Thrash back and forth wildly because they think it drives more player engagement in the game. So don't ever listen to them when they say that they're not doing it on purpose, because they are. All right, anyway, so first augment really drives the course of my game. I was looking at the different options. I didn't really like any of the things there too much, but I did see that there was +1 Brawler. That would give me Vi. That would let me play 4 Brawlers. I also had a Kale in my store, or on my bench, so I was immediately thinking, I think the play here is let's take Vi. We can run 4 Brawlers early. We could look potentially to transition out of that if something else makes more sense. But hopefully, ideally, I just get an Ezreal or a Sona to pop up here, and I can just run Underground for like the early stages of the game. And I'll just rely on like a very tanky front line, playing Vi, 4 Brawlers. And then if I can have like Kale plus Ezreal backline, get Underground in early, that could, lead me to a pretty good setup from there. The other option would be just playing a whole bunch of Brawlers, like just play into the 8 Brawlers and just use this game as a test for how the Brawler setup works. And based on what I've said at the start of this video, you can probably guess that's where we're going to be going in this game. We're just going to be looking to play all the Brawlers, get up to 8 Brawlers, and rely on Jax as our featured unit. All right, at the moment, my team is very tanky. My team does not really have much in the way of damage, though. I will say I also do have a bow here, so that is also something useful. The bow means that I already have one of Jax's key items. Most of Jax's good items build out of bows, just FYI. Some of his best items being he really likes rapid fire cannon, largely for the additional range. 2 range is a big deal on Jax, so he gets less likely to get focused by the enemy team. He can kind of stay safe behind the tank line. He also still has Rage Blade as one of his better items. I don't know if it's his best item, but it's not bad. Giant Slayer is not bad on him. Last Whisper is actually not bad on him because Armor Shred is not bad. It's really good if you could find some way to shred the armor. Usually I want to try to play Jax somewhere near Vi, just because Vi's ability is an armor shred, and Jax's ability, Jax deals mixed damage. It's partly physical, partly magic damage, but it's still not bad to have like a Last Whisper on him. And you can also build Hurricane as well. That's not a bad item either. So most of his best items build out of bows in some way, shape, or form. So it is useful for him as you watch this incredibly slow slap fight here between a bunch of brawlers and a Poppy over there. Just goes on and on and on and on and on. But yeah, we are going to end up winning that round as well. There was also a Gangplank in the store. I should have bought that Gangplank just because I might want to play that. I decide here that I'm going to go ahead and sell the Sivers. I don't think I'm going to be playing into Sivir. Kale actually does do a little bit more damage, even though she's a 1 cost as opposed to a 2 cost. I don't really want to be running Kale here, but I haven't really found another better option. I would love it if I could just find like a Vayne or something and just stick Jax items on her. But for right now, Kale I guess will do. Kale with a bow is my only damage source. Is not super impressive at this stage of the game, but it is what it is. I could actually get supers in if I wanted to. I have Lee Sin and Gangplank and Malphite, but no, I'd rather play 4 Brawlers. I think that that's a little bit better. All right, once again, another fight that's basically just a big slap fight from everyone involved. There's very little damage on either side here. The Blitzcrank with a Warmogs actually just tanks for an exceptionally long time. I think I've mentioned this in some of the other videos I've done, but Blitzcrank, a really, really good tank. He's like the purest tank in this set. His ability just makes him tankier. He does no damage at all. Like, Blitz has no damage capacity. You might have watched him on some of these minion rounds. If you take a Blitzcrank off the starting carousel, he's always the slowest one to kill the minions. But he does tank very, very well. Just not going to contribute any damage at all. All right, well, I win all 3 rounds. That means I'm last pick. There's a Jax with a Rod. That would get me Rage Blade for Jax. That would be awesome. I really wish that I could take that. Instead, it's going to get taken by one of these other players. Also, what's the other thing I would really like? The sword would not be bad either. There's just one problem. If I take the sword, it's going to make Renekton 2-star and put the sword on him. So I was like, I can't really take that sword, can I? Can't really take the sword. I don't want a 2-star Renekton with the sword. I'd have to sell that later on. So I end up taking the Yasuo. I think that's the best I can do here. By the way, there's a Riven in my store, so I actually already have 6 Brawlers. Yeah, I already have... Or wait a minute, how many? Or I can play 6 Brawlers. I have 5 Brawlers, but I can play 6 Brawlers here if I want. I actually don't think that's the right thing, though, because 6 Brawlers will leave me with absolutely no damage. So I think it's better to play 4 Brawlers and then play 2 Duelists for the time being, but we'll certainly hold on to all these units. So I have in the Kale and I have in the Gangplank, just so I have some very, very minor damage capacity here on this board. All right, I'm up against the player who took the Jax off that carousel, and I was like, wait, what? You're playing Hacker Jax? What the heck? But it actually works out. The Jax goes into the back line and just pops the Kale instantly. The good news is that Blitzcrank then, for some reason, pulls aggression on Jax, and so Blitz is just going to stand there tanking and tanking and tanking. So now it's up to Riven to kill the rest of the enemy team as these slap fights continue. But yeah, I was like, what the heck? You're playing Hacker Jax? What is this? So yeah, that's the AFK player. They have managed to get double bows on their Jax already, and that's pretty annoying. So I was like, are they going to stick with Jax? They've already made the RFC, which is generally an item that you only make on Jax. I was like, is someone going to contest me for this build? I was like, what? This is such a bad build. Like, this isn't a good build anymore. I'm just running this to test it out. And because I have a nearly perfect setup for it. I'm missing the Jax, but I basically have everything else you'd want. I already have 5 Brawlers and then the +1 Brawler heart over there. So my setup really could not be more perfect for this. Plus, I even have a Warmog that's going to make whoever I put it on unbelievably tanky with the Brawler health bonus. So, like, I have an ideal setup to play this. I don't know why this other person is going to try to force their way into Jax. I think they're actually forcing Jax just because they got a Jax off the carousel, which is, like, a really stupid reason to force your way into Jax, especially when you also have, like, I think they have LeBlanc and who's the other one? And Zoe. It's like, if you're playing LeBlanc Zoe, that's really not a Jax comp, but whatever. I am able to win streak all the way through stage 2, and that's the main thing I was looking for. Now, Brawler trait itself hasn't really changed that much. They just nerfed the numbers a little bit as far as how strong it is. So let me just pull up specifically what the brawler amounts are on the cheat sheet. Right now, so the brawler trait is very simple. Brawlers gain additional maximum health. They get more base health. If you put health items like the Warmogs on them, that gets magnified as well. Brawlers 2, 20%. Brawlers 4, 40%. Brawlers 6, 65%. Brawlers 8, 99%. The Brawlers 8 was originally 111%. Then they knocked it down to like, I think 85% in a massive nerf. Now they've buffed it back up to 99%. So it's not as high as it was in that long-running Yuumi and Jax patch, but it's a little bit better to be sure. Okay, out of the items here, I kind of get like half of Jax items, unfortunately. So I've got a Rod, and by the way, there's a 2-star Renekton, so I'll play the Renekton over something on my board right now. And all right, I'm going to move out of, well, before we do that, I'm going to move into the I'm going to move out of the Kale, and I actually find this Bel'Veth here. So I was like, all right, well, you know, until I actually find Jax, we've got 6 Brawlers in. Let's just have the Bel'Veth hold her Jax items for right now. She's also a melee carry. Her itemization is definitely not the same as Jax's itemization, but, you know, she's a better holder of this Titan's Resolve that I made for Jax than, definitely a better holder than a 1-star Kale. So we can go ahead and put her in there. And just have her dash around slapping people. Bel'Veth has been getting steadily buffed. She was one of the weakest units in the set on release, but she's been getting steadily buffed. She's actually a pretty strong unit right now. People are starting to build some comps around her. People like building on her Last Whisper so that she'll armor shred because she's entirely physical damage, and Gunblade. That appears to be her core build. Last Whisper, Gunblade. Kind of interesting. And then last item can be like Infinity Edge, Giant Slayer. Titans is not that bad on her. It's not amazing, but it's not that bad. Quicksilver Sash is not that bad. It's the last item either, so you get the idea. All right, we get our second augment choice, and I actually have a really good option, Knife's Edge. Units standing in the front 2 rows gain 25 damage. That's really quite good for my setup here because I'm going to be playing everybody on the front line. This is one of the few comps that just shoves everybody up in the first 2 rows. So we're going to be getting very high value out of this. Anyway, I also have a Camille here, so I can check the admin. And let's see, out of these, let's see, admins gain attack speed, no. On ally death, admins gain health, no. Every 5 seconds, your team gains 12% attack damage, done. That's actually pretty good. So I would be happy to play that as my next unit in if for some reason I can't find Jax. I really need to find Jax, though, at some point in time. It's kind of hilarious how I found all these other Brawlers, and I'm not finding the Jax yet. But he'll show up sooner or later, right? He'll show up sooner or later. It's going to happen. But, like, I already have 2-star Renekton, 2-star Blitz. I've got a pair of Lees, I have a pair of Rivens, and then I've even got another Blitz. I need to hold extra Blitzes because Blitz needs to get sold eventually and move these items over to presumably Sejuani because she's the strongest Brawler as a 4-cost unit. Only reason I would keep these on Blitz is if I 3-star him, which is possible, but rather unlikely because I'm trying to push levels. I need to at least get to level 7, where I have better odds to find the Jaxes. I get up to 35% odds to find Jax at level 7. But anyway, yeah, the Knife's Edge is really good. The Brawler Heart is really good. The fact that these are silver augments is also very good as well. And by the way, there's Sejuani, so, well, we'll play that over something. So I found every Brawler except Jax. Yeah, I could actually play 8 Brawlers right now if I had Jax, but no. No Jax. Okay, only the most important unit in this team composition, and I still can't find him. All right, sure, whatever. I mean, I found the early Sejuani. I can't complain, but still silly. Anyway, I was saying the silver augment is actually quite good here, and that's because Brawlers is a team composition that has a very strong early game and a strong mid game, if not quite as strong, but then it falls off very hard in the late game. And that's because as damage ramps up, the value of just having tons and tons of health is lower as units can deal more damage as you get later into the game. So Brawlers, an early mid-game comp, falls off late game. The reason why I mentioned silver augments being good is silver augments means the overall power level of this lobby will be lower. In prismatic lobbies, there's a higher power level. Like, units just get stronger. There's more stuff in play. But for a silver lobby, the power level is weaker, and that means that the shelf life of Brawlers in the mid-game is going to be extended a little bit longer. That's not something I can control, But the point is just that this is a nice RNG factor working in my favor. It's just inherently good that we're getting these silver augments, and I actually have 2 very, very good silver augments for the board that I'm playing. These are excellent matches for the team composition that I'm running. All right, well, I am last pick again. I have not lost a round yet in the game. It's actually a very tight lobby for everyone that's not me. 76 health to 65. I was really hoping that once again that I could get... What am I sitting on? I'm sitting on a glove. Oh, I was hoping I could get a bow. If I could get a bow, I could make Rage Blade. If I could get a tier, I could make Hand of Justice. I was hoping for one of those 2. Unfortunately, I don't see either one. So I'm going to go ahead and take this cloak. And then I was like, what do I do with this cloak? I'm going to go ahead and level to 7. I definitely have the econ for it. So I'm going to definitely level and play that unit. I'm going to play the 2-star Lee, and I'm going to put in Camille over the Riven because I want that admin to be in play. So Riven can hang out on the bench. I was like, do I just make Quicksilver Sash? It's pretty good on Jax. It's one of his better items, maybe not his best item, but I can put this on him. Or on Belveth, who's holding Jax items right now. It's going to give the 30% attack speed, and then the immunity to crowd control for the first half of the fight, the first 15 seconds. I was like, okay. I guess that's fine. The other option was to go ahead and look to make a Gargoyle Stoneplate on the Blitzcrank, and I think that would have been a good choice as well. But I was like, all right, well, let's go with this. This is pretty good. Jax does not look like he's going to have an RFC, Rapid Fire Cannon. Does not look like he's going to get that this game, so that means he'll have to be played up on the front lines, and that means the Quicksilver Sash's protection is going to be pretty good. I was also kind of amused there by how much AD that Renekton was getting. He actually had plus 55 AD. That's from the Knife's Edge, and then that's also from the admin giving another 12% AD every couple of seconds. And then look at this. Mordekaiser, Zed. I was like, could I get a Jax? Can I just get like one Jax instead? I've got a Mordekaiser in my shop. All right. Well, you know what? We'll just play that. We got to find Jax sooner or later. Let's just play the Mord for this round in particular. It actually does make Laser Core in addition to and he has Laser Core and Ace Straight going in for that. So these are not particularly good items for Mordekaiser, but whatever. We'll hold him for right now, and hopefully we can find the Jax. This is probably a little bit better than the Belveth, I think. Maybe. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right, so I'm up against the person who took that Jax, and but if there was any question about is this person playing into a Jax board, that has been answered now. So this person's going pretty hardcore into Jax. They actually have Pandora's Bench. So they took AFK for their first augment, Pandora's Bench for their second one. So they're basically just praying that they're just rolling for 3 costs and praying that they're gonna hit Jax, and then hoping that their Pandora's Bench is going to give them Jaxes. It's a very RNG heavy approach to playing this particular unit. And you can see they only have, I think, 1 or 2 Jaxes thus far. So at least up to this point in time, they have not been hitting. They still had Jax 1-star. So I don't know. That doesn't feel like the best way to build a Jax comp. They do have good Jax items because their health is so low. They've been getting first pick off all the carousels. So they have basically the cookie cutter Jax build, Rage Blade, Bloodthirster, and Rapid Fire Cannon. So like they have all the standard items you would make if you're trying to do best in slot Jax, but I don't think that they really quite know what they're doing with this build, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think they're more just hoping to get lucky. All right, well, there's Riven 2-star, but we still don't have a Jax. So can we maybe find at least one? I'm going to roll until I can find at least one here. All right, there we go. So Mordekaiser, you'll come out for right now. Let's go ahead and put this on Jax. And we actually have the items for a Rage Blade. So it's like, all right, well, let's go ahead and do that. So we've got Rage Blade and the Titans and then the Quicksilver Sash. I'll also go ahead and take out the Camille. And now let's try to get to level level 8 so we can put Camille back in and get admin in play. It's like, all right, so now we've got Jax. That means that we can run the 8 Brawlers. That means that now we're in great shape, right? Well, the thing is, this is maybe not the best setup for Jax. And that's because I'm missing something very important on Jax. Longtime players of this set probably know what it is that I'm missing. Yeah, he doesn't have any lifesteal. And as soon as I saw this build, I was like, oh, I forgot to put lifesteal on him. Oh, yeah, geez, okay. So he scales up really hard over the course of the fights. Like, you know, he's got the Titans and the Rage Blade, so he has the double stacking over the course of the fights, but he doesn't heal at all. So I was kind of hoping that maybe, as I lose my first round, I was like, maybe I can get something that'll let him heal. And it was like, oh, Okay, well, there's a Jax here. After every third attack, he gains 12% attack speed. This is actually not an especially good augment, but I just took it because I wanted to hopefully get the Jax 2-star. And it does actually make Jax 2-star. I would have preferred to take the Sejuani augment, to be honest. The Sejuani augment is definitely the better of these two. The Sejuani augment increasing the duration of her stun by a full second. Definitely better, but I needed to get Jax 2-star, so that got me to Jax 2-star, so... I do think it was the right decision to take that just because I needed to hit Jax 2-star. I need some kind of carry. Just playing a bunch of tanky boys is starting to fall off pretty hard in terms of usefulness. So we're going to need to get some actual damage on our comp. You saw that round didn't go very well. I was up against someone who was playing Recon plus Threats. I was all over that. I did a video on that the first day the set came out. I was all over that being a strong build. And now it's kind of everywhere. This video recorded like a week later. Now everybody is playing this. And so, yeah, you got to jump on these things quickly. People will realize what's winning. And this person's actually doing the same thing. There's actually 2 people playing this build. It's just 4 recon and then threats and just re-rolling for all of them. The good news for me is that these people will be contesting each other and taking some units out of the pool. The bad news for me is I appear to have no damage still. Whoops. I mean, I guess Jax did some damage, but this is clearly not enough. I'm going to need more in my build if I'm going to make this happen. So I'm going to try to get to level 8, and then we'll have to figure something out. I do have the item remover on my bench, so I could potentially take one of these items off Jax and use it to, if I could get like a Bloodthirster or something, I'd be happy to slap that on him so he could get some lifesteal on there. I would probably take off the QSS, because QSS is actually pretty good on frontline units. Could always pop that QSS off and put it on like the Blitzcrank. I know it sounds kind of weird, but it's actually not a bad item on frontline units because it gives, well, it's not as good as it used to be because it used to give dodge chance, so it's not as good now as it used to be, but it's still actually not a terrible item on frontline units because it allows them to get their cast off. Would be more useful on Sejuani, so she gets her cast off than Blitz. Blitz getting his cast off is not that big of a deal. But yeah, anyway, so this fight's going better. This team does not look to be as strong. I did kind of hit the 2 strongest boards in the lobby, the 2 people playing those recon boards. They definitely seem to be the strongest players. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to keep pushing to level 8. And then the decision is, do we stay at level 8 and re-roll to try to 3-star Jax? And Riven, typically it's Jax and Riven you look to go towards. Or do we try to push levels and try to get to level 9 and play a bunch of legendary units? And we'll have to just figure out which makes more sense for our setup here. All right, so as far as items, I don't really have a lot of stuff on my bench right now. I think I have 1 unused vest on Blitzcrank. So I'm trying to see what I could pair with it. I was thinking maybe if I could take that sword, that could be like maybe half of a Bloodthirster later on, but it gets grabbed. And then I'm like, I guess I'm getting a vest. There's 2 vests here, so I'll take the 4 gold vest over the 2 gold vest. Guess I'm getting a vest, so that rules that out. So not going to have much of a choice there. All right, well, let's go ahead and make the Bramble vest. That's not bad. Pretty good frontline item. All right, and I'm continuing rolling. I'm not really seeing a whole lot thus far. Could I maybe find something a little bit better? We'll at least put Camille in. And all right, well, there is a 2-star Sedge. As soon as I hit 2-star Sedge, we're going to sell and transfer, move those items over to Sejuani. She now has an absurd amount of health. There's also a Jax in the store, so we're definitely going to pick that up. And then the question is, how much more do I want to roll here? Do I want to keep rolling, try to 3-star the Jax, or do we look to just push level 9 quickly? I'm going to have to think about that and decide what to do. So that's kind of what I'm thinking over as I'm in this round. I was like, you know, there are a lot of 3 costs out of the pool. The big question, oh, by the way, look at the Quicksilver Sash letting Jax continue to attack, despite Vel'Koz getting the beam off. Unfortunately, then the Quicksilver Sash times out, which is unfortunate. But yeah, that's probably part of the difference in this fight. Look at him continuing to get hit by Vel'Koz. But yeah, he managed to dodge the CC, at least at the start of the fight. All right. There we go. Going to be able to win that one. Another person playing threats. So, like, there are a ton of threats out of the pool. And there's a Soraka, so we can take out the Camille, and we can play Soraka. Soraka's better because she makes the heart trait. Keeps admin in, but makes the heart trait. So we do get some scaling over time. If Soraka can cast, like if I could get some like double tiers so Soraka could get a blue buff, that would be pretty nice, just so she could put scale up the heart trait, make that other unit a little stronger. But like I'm looking around and like I see the other Jax player and I'm like, wait, this person has 8 Jaxes. There's 8 Jaxes out of the pool, and then that person just hits it. I was like, wait, what? They had 1 Jax the last time I looked at them. I think that they just got lucky and hit the 2-star Jack, hit a 2-star Jax out of Pandora's box. I don't know. I would love to go back and check to see if we had like actual replays in this game, but no, we don't have replays in Teamfight Tactics. But yeah, they basically just sat there at level 7 rolling for Jax, and they had Pandora's bench, and they basically just hit. So I was like, they have 3-star Jax. Okay, so the problem with that is there's only 18 copies of the 3-cost units in the pool. So there's 18 of them. That person has 9 Jaxes. I have 4. I would have to hit 5 more, and I would have to get all 5 Jaxes that are in the pool. If anyone else has even 1 Jax, then I can't hit Jax 3-star. It's not possible after that point. So I was like, I don't think I'm going to hit Jax 3-star. I don't think that that's my path to victory in this game. I think the goal is there's just too many Jaxes out of the pool with that person having 9 of them out. I think the plan is we go level 9 and then we play a bunch of legendary units. And therefore, the focus of the game is actually not really going to be Jax that much. He's still going to be my top damage dealer, but I'm kind of going to try to play around other legendary units and just not really the Jax so much. So let's see what we can do. Like, I just got that Fiddlesticks, which is really interesting. I also get a tier. So what do we want to get here? There's a sword. Perfect. Can make Spiro Shojin on Soraka. But I think the play is let's get to 9, and then we can put that Fiddlesticks on my board. Fiddlesticks would actually be really good in this comp. And then, a Brawler emblem. That's fantastic. I can cut out one of the Brawlers from my team, and then I can just play the Fiddlesticks right now. Okay, who do we take out from this board? I was like, I'm pretty sure it's Renekton. Sorry, Renekton. You are a 1-cost unit. So yeah, we can just play Fiddlesticks and make him a Brawler. So this is Fiddlesticks and the Brawler Brigade. Off to work here. So yeah, Fiddlesticks just got a tremendous amount of health. And I'm actually going to play him right on the front lines. Now, this is deliberate. By the way, I've just got this leftover vest. I probably should hold that just in case I find something better to do with it. But I'll put it on Riven just to make her slightly tankier. I want to leave a slot open for Sejuani in case I get another tank item. Anyway, Fiddlesticks is really, really key. It actually makes my board a lot stronger because he provides more crowd control, more time for Jax to sit there hitting people and ramping up over the course of these fights. Unfortunately, Jax does not focus the Vayne in these fights. He decides to go attack the tank Sejuani on the other side instead of hitting the Vayne. So we actually are going to end up losing that fight, even though I think we probably could have won that with slightly better targeting. And then, oh my god, we get another Fiddlesticks? Okay, definitely want to get level 9. We want to go level 9, find Fiddlesticks 2-star, and then we could put in Mordekaiser or just whatever other legendary units we find. Mord would be good for the magic-resistant shred, but really just whatever we find. So that's the goal. We're using our Brawler board as a tempo board, i.e. we understand, like I understand this comp is going to fall off late game. It's strong early, it's decent mid game, it falls off late game. So I'm aware of that. I'm just going to use this to push levels as quickly as possible, make use of that health that I banked earlier in the game, get to level 9, and then supplement this board with a whole bunch of legendary units. So that is the plan. All right, now keep an eye on Fiddlesticks in this fight. He is going to go off, and look at him CC the back line. That's why he's a really, really crucial unit to have on this board. He just takes the Kaisa on this team out of the fight for a couple seconds. Good job, Sejuani. You got that ult on Ezreal. By the way, Fiddles with that much health, he actually gets a second ult off in the fight. So yeah, he gets stronger over the course of the fight as units on your team die. Well, let me just read his description. I've got the cheat sheet here. I don't think I've featured Fiddlesticks too much in these videos. Where is Fiddlesticks? Okay, here we go. Corrupted and Threat. He has his own unique trait. Corrupted. The corrupted trait is lie dormant while absorbing the souls of allies that die. Gain 40 ability power for each soul. Once per combat at 60% health or when your team has died, come alive and fight. Ability is officially called Dark Harvest. Costs 66 mana. Fiddlesticks teleports into the largest cluster of enemies and fears them. For the next few seconds, Fiddlesticks drains the life from nearby enemies, deals magic damage per second, heals himself for 20% of the damage dealt. So he's inactive at the start of the fight. Once your team loses X amount of enemies, he becomes untargetable for like 2 or 3 seconds, and then channels his Crowstorm ultimate, pops out there, and fears nearby enemies while dealing magic damage and drains some of the life. By the way, we're up against the other person with the Jax, but oh, guess what? Apparently, Jax 2-star beats Jax 3-star. So I'm actually able to win even though I have Jack's 2-star and he has Jack's 3-star. It's because my team is just much better built overall. Like that person has Jack's 3-star and they're probably stuffing the best in slot items on him, but you know, it didn't really understand how to build that team or build around the Jacks instead of just stuffing items on him from a list that's probably on like meta TFT or something. Okay, then we get a bizarre carousel. We get the Tactician's Crown carousel. This only pops up, I believe, 0.5% of the time, so it is extremely rare. But okay, we'll just make use of this. This is actually really good for me. I think that this is better for me than for most of the other players. Most of the remaining players in the lobby are like at level 7 or level 8, and they're just re-rolling to try to hit 3-stars. But I think this is better for me because I'm going to be able to go level 9, and then I can play more legendary units with all of my 8 brawlers for frontline support. So I think this benefits me more because instead of shoving in, like, I think some of these people on their threats boards have, like, an extra Cho'Gath. Like, I think there are some of the people who have, like, 2 Cho'Gath 2-stars, but, like, I'll be able to put in Mordekaiser and maybe Urgot when I level up. And like maybe Leona. Like these are just better units, and I'm going to get access to playing more of them in these fights. All right, so this person is very clumped up. Fiddlesticks is actually in a great position. By the way, Mordekaiser gets off a very nice ultimate on that team. Do I have enough damage to finish this off, though? Remember, Jax is only a 2-star 3 cost, and he has no lifesteal. I think he might be able to win this fight with lifesteal, but looks like he's going to be a little bit short without that. Still, I'm confident that I can beat that board if I'm able to get to level 9 and start putting in legendary units. So I'm trying to be patient. Remember, I built up that big stack of life earlier in the game. Just let's stay here. Let's get to level 9. Let's get Fiddlesticks 2-star. Let's get Mordekaiser 2-star. Let's see what else we can find. Play all these units and go from there. The focus of this team is starting to shift away from the Jacks a bit and starting to maybe shift towards some of these 5-cost units. That's my hope in any case. All right, so I'm going to move Jax over here to this side. I wanted Jax to be as far away from the 3-star recon units as possible. And I guess that didn't quite work out. Maybe he should have been on the other side. I don't know. Unfortunately, he's wasting his time trying to get through this very tanky Zac. That's not quite what I want. Do we have enough damage to get through this and then get on the back line? No. Unfortunately, oh, well, Fiddlesticks gets off his CC. Is it going to be enough? No. Not quite. Now, can Sedge get off another ult that actually hits the DPSing units on the other side? Remember, I've got Soraka tossing in a little bit of extra damage over there. Oh, Soraka, can you finish off the Ezreal? He just got frozen. Come on, Ezreal. Oh, man. That was so close. Ezreal on 78 HP. Oof. Well, I can't say I was expecting to win that round, but it would have been nice. It would have preserved a little bit of health. In any case, though, let's just go ahead. Level 2, 9. It takes me under 50 gold, but I'm going to get some gold drops here, and it's worthwhile to get a level 9 shop on the next round anyway. So we'll get something here. I'm actually going to wait and roll on level 9 first before I pull the item anvil that comes out from this minion round. I want to see what units I'm going to be playing through, because like I could hit 2-star Fiddles, I could hit like randomly a 2-star Nunu or a Aphelios or something. We'll just see what we hit, and then we'll pull an item based on whatever we hit after we know what units we've actually managed to find in the store. Anyway, though, so just killing the Zac blobs here, waiting to see what we're going to get. That anvil will pop out any second now. By the way, if you're like, wow, it's taking you a long time to kill this monster, it's like, yeah, I know. My damage is pretty low right now. So what I need more damage capacity on this team. All right, but that's what we're going to be looking to find. All right, we finally get by 2-star. There's a Nunu, an Aphelios. There's a Soraka. Okay, just going to keep looking here. Syndra, Leona. I should just pick up the Syndra as well. You never know what you're going to hit. There's Soraka 2-star. There's a Leona. Okay, so we'll just put the Leona in. That'll give us Aegis trait. There's actually double Syndras. I was like, oh, okay. And then there's another Syndra. So I was like, I think that's better than the Soraka. I mean, I do lose admin trait for this, but I think that's still better. So we're going to keep rolling, and okay. I did not manage to finish my roll down, unfortunately. So I'm going to sell the Nunu, and then here I was looking at these items. I was like, I think Ionic Spark is actually pretty good here. I can put this on Fiddles. That's going to be, I actually have a fair amount of magic damage on my team. I actually think that'll be pretty good. But unfortunately, I didn't quite manage to finish rolling down. I didn't get to position here at all. I'm up against the Jax 3-star. Now, I actually did beat this team the last time around. They did manage to get a little bit stronger. But unfortunately I lost Jax. Yeah, I lost my Jax pretty quickly in this fight, and that's the biggest reason why I'm struggling here. My Jax went down pretty quickly, and I just don't really have any damage without that. So Fiddlesticks got off a nice ult. By the way, Syndra is throwing in units left and right. With that Shojin, she's actually tossing in so many enemy units. There's another Fiddlesticks that she tossed in off the bench, but it's not enough. Syndra, top damage in that fight. So I was like, all right, well, I didn't quite manage to finish getting my board set here. So let's keep rolling. We actually got another chest here. So, okay. Got a bow. Would have been nice on Jax earlier in the game. All right, there we go. That's 2-star Fiddles. I guess we might as well pick up the Jax. What else can we find here in the store? Gonna keep rolling. 2-star Urgot. Okay, so we'll take out the Mordekaiser. Probably should have taken that out last round anyway. And now I've got a 2-star Urgot. That feels pretty good. And I managed to make 2-star Fiddlesticks. Okay, so we should be a lot stronger now. I think I've got my board now set up the way I want. 8 Brawler. I've got the 2-star Fiddles, the 2-star Urgot, the 2-star Syndra. And now I really need to start thinking about setting up my bench to make use of Syndra. Like, she can throw in these 1-star Jaxes, but that's kind of a waste of Syndra's ability. With the Shojin, she casts very quickly in these fights. By the way, Urgot, a great ultimate, hit like the entire enemy team. And then there's a sword. Okay, Giant Slayer for Urgot. That works for me. But, like, yeah, she just threw in a Leona. So I do want to try to configure my bench to make better use of the fact that Syndra's throwing units in. By the way, goodbye, Jax player. Now the Jax player is out of the lobby, so all those units will go back into the pool. All right, what can we find? We still want to roll a little bit more here. Let's see what we can do. Or actually, I think I stopped here because I only had 3 gold, and I wouldn't be able to buy any more 5-cost units, even if I spotted them. All right, we're up against another one of the the recon threat players. I have a 3-star Ezreal, a 3-star Kai'Sa. So I just want Urgot to try to hit that person with the big tidal wave, and then Fiddlesticks to get the CC off. I'm going to try to put Jax away from them, and then position Urgot so the tidal wave hits the right-hand side. Good. Jax should be relatively safe there. Now we'll just hope that Syndra keeps throwing units in. And as I said, my focus of the team has really shifted away from Jax at this point in time. Now the focus is really more on the Urgot, the Fiddlesticks, and the Syndra throwing units in. They're arguably more integral to the team than the Jax. Jax, is tanky. He still does damage, but, him going down in the fights is actually not the end of the world anymore. Yeah, so we're able to win. Urgot did the most damage. Fiddlesticks did the second most damage that fight. Yeah. What else can we get here? I would love like a death cap for Fiddles, but that does not appear to be the case. So I was like, the item I probably should have taken here was the redemption on the Urgot. Well, that got taken. Okay, that's why I didn't grab that, because it got taken. I do also have the option to take Sunfire, and I actually don't have a heal cut on my board right now. So the correct play is probably the Sunfire, just because I don't have any anti-healing. I opt for the Last Whisper because that will give me a bit of armor shred. And by the way, there's a 2-star Echo, so I don't want to play Echo, but we can certainly hold him on our bench so that he can get thrown in. That sounds pretty good, throwing in a 2-star Echo. And at this point, I say I'm not going to hit the 3-star Jax. It's just not happening. So let's clear these units off our bench so that now Syndra will throw in either the 2-star Echo or the Leona. That should be pretty good. Oh, somebody hit 3-star Vayne. Okay, well, let's position the Urgot over here. Yeah, so this person hit 3-star Vayne. They weren't able to hit 3-star Kai'Sa because their other player has has like 9 Kai'Sas, but they're competing with units. One of them hit the Kai'Sa, one of them hit the Vayne. So I'm going to try to position Urgot so that Urgot has the tidal wave hitting Vayne. I actually hit Vayne and Kai'Sa because Kai'Sa dashed into it. Excellent. Now that Urgot's got the Last Whisper, he will be able to armor shred the front line for me. And it's a shame I don't have some... we knocked them down to 1 HP. Ugh. Wish we had had one more unit survive. All right, there's a Fiddlesticks, but we can put a Fiddlesticks on the bench. That's a good unit to throw in. But then I was like, oh, there's a... okay, well, let's just make 2-star Leona. So we only have 1 unit available for throwing in, but it is a 2-star Echo. So now my board's basically set. I've 2-starred all of my 5 costs. I 2-starred the Sedge... Or excuse me, 2-starred the Fiddlesticks, 2-starred the Leona, 2-starred the Syndra, 2-starred the Urgot. Now I want to build out my bench with more tanky 2-star units to throw in. All right, once again, is this person going to position so that their Kai'Sas away from me? Nope. That said, it is a ghost round for them. So they're not positioning for me, they're positioning for the other player. But yeah, I think I should be able to win this one. There goes the Echo in. So now I kind of need another unit to be able to throw in for Syndra's next cast. Looks like she got mono-reefed by Cho, but I was like, oh, get me more gold. I need another unit to throw in so Syndra can toss in another unit if her mono bar is filled up. Yep, there we go. the Urgot Syndra synergy. You get gold from a treasure chest, which then allows you to throw in another unit from your store. All right, so I was like, we'll pick up this Mord. That could be another unit thrown in. We're not playing Mordekaiser right now, so sure, why not? Anyway, I hope that this game is showing... oh, and by the way, both players survived. It looks like the player on 1 HP managed to win the round. But hopefully we can get... I'm hoping that I should be able to beat either one of them. I think my board is significantly stronger than both of them. I hope that this game has really showed how the focus of the match has changed from being about the Brawlers to like not really being about the Brawlers at all at this point in time. It's really about the legendary units. I have both of the legendary unit threats that are being... played on my comp, and then the Syndra has actually been a terror as well. Okay, so we're actually going to get a champion duplicator here. As far as items I want, I was like, there's nothing here I want that badly. What about the Zeeks? We could put the Zeeks maybe on Urgot, and then put the Urgot next to Syndra and Jax. That would give Jax a little additional attack speed. Doesn't feel too bad. All right, so we'll keep rolling. There's another Fiddles, but, I mean, I already have the Fiddles. I already have Fiddles 2-star. I was like, all right, well, you know, this feels weird, but I'm going to champion duplicate the Mordekaiser on my bench. And, I actually run out of time. Whoops. Ran out of time. Was not able to get the Syndra and Jax next to Urgot. So, okay, well, we'll get them for the next round, if there is a next round. It's actually more important that Urgot's positioned correctly, which he is. He should be able to hit most of the enemy team's carries with his ult. Well, actually, seem to be killing most of them before they can really do much of anything. So Syndra threw in the 2-star Mordekaiser. Now she's going to throw in the 2-star Echo. Jax was kind of MIA in this fight, but like we just have so many units, there's not much you can do. Urgot, top damage dealer, and they actually both end up losing. I don't know if they both hit me, but someone lost in a ghost round. So that's going to be it. GG. Both of them took like 20 damage in the fights, and I'm able to escape with a victory here. So, like I said, kind of a weird game. It was fun playing the Brawlers into the Fiddlesticks and the other legendary units later on. I think this was another good example of a game really emphasizing tempo. I talk about that a lot in my videos, but I do think it's an important concept to understand. And it all kind of came together in this one. Anyway, though, once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this one. Until next time, take care, folks.